Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a Psalms 119 morning. Guys, let's go to verse 148. My eyes are awake through the night watches, so I may meditate on your word. David even goes into more description if you move over there to Psalm 63. I'm just going to read it. And it reads, "Oh God, you are my God. Early will I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh longs for you in a dry and thirsty land where there is no water." Guys, Earl Nightingale said it best. You become what you think about. I totally understand now why David was the apple of God's eye. If he's doing it through the night watches, he's up early doing it. Every time you turn around, David is seeking God in his word. He's trying to be in his presence. He's worshiping God. You become what you think about. So I'm asking you, what do you think about? And guys, generally, it's the things that you engage your five senses with. Now go over there to that Faith-Driven Family. Oh my goodness, that's some great reading by Vodi Bakum. And he really goes out of his way to engage his family's senses with the things of God and how he took them to Paris. They hopped over to Paris because he was out in England ministering. And so they hopped over to Paris and they're at the Louvre and they're going around and they're looking at the Christian-based artwork. And he was just talking about the Last Supper and Mary and Joseph and all these different things that stimulate what they see. He said, but it moved them to think about the scriptures that he had read to them and that they've studied over the course of time. Then I started thinking about engaging through what we hear. You come into my house, guys, generally what you're gonna hear is someone has either somebody preaching or it's a panel of different pastors coming together and breaking down the word, or singing of the hymns. That's just something that you hear that on a consistent basis in our house. And then there was talking about, or when you walk through my front door, right there's a picture of us on the Azalea Trails here in Tyler. It's just beautiful. And I remember we had invested to have a photographer take our family pictures, and she had used one of her customers' yards, and they let us use their swing. It was so beautiful. And that portrait sits right there, and it says, "From me and my house, we will serve the Lord." Those are visuals, and we're stimulating the things and the standards of God, making sure our thoughts are on him. But like I told y'all, make sure you go and pull up, guys. We posted it yesterday. The Mindset Talks, our podcast, Joy and T's Talk Mindset. She was very transparent and some things that had happened that week. That's one of our intentional weeks, and our family sits around the table, and Daddy, as the head of the family, prayed over us, and it was such a time. We're really doing it our Sunday dinners and really embracing God being the head of our home. And so I want to engage my grandbaby's senses of taste and smell and remember those times of being together where we worship as a family. But I love how Vodi in the family, in the Faith-Driven Family, I love how he began to take piano lessons because he wanted to lead his family in worship. It was something that they did, and they would play instruments during their praise and worship time. But because he wanted to lead them, he started learning to touch the keys of the piano. And as he was describing that sense of not just using instruments to broaden us and make us more, mentally, those things are advancing in life, but engaging even that to remind them of God. I was reminded of my Bible, guys. When I do Psalms 119 and I pour over it, I've been doing it for years now. I have the certain Bible that I like to do Psalms 119 out of. And I'm laughing because I was going to do, y'all notice I started with a new translation this round. But I just couldn't, it wasn't the same. I wanted to go back, that feel, those whispery pages, y'all, because the oils in my hands have turned the pages on Psalms 119. I read, write, and recite. I've done it for years now. There's no feel like it. When I touch it, it's like every part of God's principles and his statutes and his testimonies and his commands that he's piled into Psalms 119. Oh my goodness, they're at the tip. My fingertips that touch. Have you engaged your senses? You become. Now, you do become what you think. But guys, let me tell you this. If you're not what you want to be, let's go back and let's start engaging our senses with the things of God. Let's change it. Let's change that. This year I said I want to be disciplined. So what, I've been putting some disciplines before me. I'm thinking about it. I'm finding it in the scripture so I can be more disciplined. I can become that which I think. What are you putting before you? What are you putting before your eyes? What are you listening to? What are you touching? What are you tasting and smelling? Are you intentional? Because guys, if you're not where you want to be, that's where it starts. Write it down. Put it before you. God's grace and mercy. You don't have to remain where you are. You can take that. You better take that and run with it. I am Joy K. Massenberg, your morning motivator, serving you a hot cup of inspiration so you can be productive and a joy to someone else. Happy Friday, guys. I love you. Connect with me right there at www.joykmassenberg.com. If you haven't already, what do you got to do? You got to go right now and register for Java with Joy that first Saturday of the month, 9 a.m. Central. You do not want to miss it. Come on, authors. Let's come together. Let's talk through our challenges, because at the end of the day, we've been called to write. We are great recorders who record those great things, whether it be through fiction, nonfiction, through fantasy. I've watched God use all those mediums to make a change and to touch people's lives. No more books in the grave. Meet me there, Java with Joy. We are getting into these inciting incidents that's in our lives, and they must be in our books. All right, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.